This will be a short review of basic statistics. In this video, we will look at mean, median, and mode. Let's start off with mean. The mean is also known as the average. In order to find the mean of a list of values, we'll simply add up all the values in that list and divide by the number of values. We'll try two examples. First, we have this list of numbers, so I'm going to add them all up. That means I'll be adding 2 and 2 and 3 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 13 and 17. And hopefully you were busy while I was saying those numbers all out loud, counting up the number of numbers we had. Let's see, I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers, so I'll divide by 11. And if we add up top, we should get 88. You can verify. We're dividing that again by the number of numbers in our list, which was 11. 88 divided by 11 is 8. So that means that the mean of the list of values is 8, the mean or the average. Let's do another example in a bit more context. So let's try finding the average test score for Joe. Joe has earned scores of 85%, 91%, and 88%. So just like our last example, I'll need to start by adding up the values I'm given and then dividing by the number of values. So in this case, we'll be adding 85, 91, and 88, and we'll be dividing by 3 because there were 3 test scores. So if I sum 85, 91, and 88, that comes to 264. If we divide 264 by 3, we get 88. And in context, what this value means is that Joe's average test score is an 88%. So Joe's average test score is 88%. This is something I'm sure you will find handy in classes and other contexts as well. So that's a little bit about the mean. Now let's move to another measure, and this one is going to be the median. So the median is the middle number in a list of values when the values are arranged in order. So one key thing about the median is your values do need to be in order. And we're going to walk through two examples of median because if you have an odd number of values, there's a true middle. But if there's an even number of values, we have to average the middlemost two. So let's start with this list of numbers below. We have the list of numbers 2, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10, 13, 17. So we're asked to find the median. My first check for processing the median is, are the values in order? And in this case, yes, they are in order. So then my next project becomes figuring out if there's an odd number of values or an even number. So I'll just count them up real quick here. It looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers, which means there is a middlemost number. So one little technique is drop one off the front and the back and then go again. This is just kind of a visual way to get down to the middlemost number. Oops. Let's see if I can keep things kind of color-coded here. One more color. Okay, so I've chopped off numbers from the front and the back and allowed us to find that the middlemost number in this case is 8. So the median in our list of numbers is 8. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward example. Again, we had an odd number of values, so there was a true middle number. But for our second example, we have a new list of numbers, and it turns out it's going to be an even number of numbers. So in this example below, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers are there. So first, we'll need to make sure they're in order. If not, we'll do so. And then we'll talk about our strategy for finding the median with an even number of values. So let's start by ordering them. Unlike our first example, these values are not in order. So I'm going to start by rearranging them. Let's see, it looks like my smallest value there is 17. I'm just going to cross it off so I know I've used it. Then we have 18. Then we have 19. Let's see, it looks like 20 is next. 21. 22. And we have two 24s. Okay, so all I've done at this point is just order my numbers. And now if I use that little technique we used in the previous example, kind of chopping off one from the front, one from the back for a minute here, what happens very shortly is we arrive at two middlemost numbers. So in this case, 20 and 21 share the middle position since there's an even number of values. So we can see that when there are an even number of values, our strategy is just to average those middle two numbers. And like we talked about at the beginning of this video, to average two numbers just means to add them and divide by 2, since in this case there are two numbers. So we're looking at 41 divided by 2, giving us 20.5 as the median of this list of numbers. So in this example, the median is 20.5. Okay, so that is the median. So last but not least, we'll finish up by talking about the mode. And the mode of a list of values is the value that occurs most often. So note that it is possible to have no mode or to have more than one mode. So a lot of times we think, oh, there can only be one mode, but there actually are a few different possibilities. We're going to capture those in the examples we have following here. So as a first example, let's look at the list 2, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10, 13, 17. So even as I read those aloud, you probably heard the number I said most often there was definitely 10. There are 3 10s in this list. Don't be tricked by the fact that there were 2 2s. I'll just note that real quick. There were 2 2s, but since there are 3 10s, that one wins out for the mode. That definitely occurs most often. So in our first example here, the mode is 10. Okay, so second example of finding mode is this list now. We have 800, 750, 800, 925, 925, 615, 870. And for finding the mode, you don't have to have the numbers in order. You surely are welcome to put them in order, but it's not a requirement when finding the mode. So I noticed that 800 was said twice, and we also said something else twice. We said 925 twice. Every other number in this list occurred only once, so this is an example of where there are two modes. So in this case, the modes are 800, because that happened twice, and also 925, because that happened twice. So there were two modes in this list. Alright, last example. Again, finding the mode. Our list of numbers this time, 89, 84, 96, 97, 100, 74, 83, 88, 95. Okay, so in this list, we will notice after observing or reading the numbers out loud that no number was repeated. So this would be an example of where there is actually no mode. No number occurs more than once. So let's just see if we can summarize real quick these three measures we discussed. Basically, we talked about the mean as the average. So mean is the same as the average. We talked about the median, and the median can be summarized by the middle number. So I'm just kind of drawing a little comparison here. Of course, with the median, remember, we did have to have our numbers in order. And then finally, we talked about the mode, and we said the mode was the number that occurred the most often. So I'm just kind of underlining in case this helps. Mean being average, pretty good. Most people are okay with that one. The median, I underline my I, is the middle number, in case that helps. So that's our median. And then our mode was our number that occurred most often. So those are 3 common statistic measurements you could be asked to find. And if this all makes sense, please find the practice. It's titled Basic Statistics Practice. Try it out for yourself.